that. The name says it all. I'm Hakeem Branch.
Rob Jarrell.
And today, we got a pretty big episode for you. We're going to preview and predict the Manny Pacquiao-Tim Bradley rematch, which is happening this Saturday, April 12th, going on pay-per-view. We would talk about the undercard, but in our opinion, and probably most of the boxing community, undercard sucks. So what we're going to do is we're going to watch Glory Kickboxing, because that's going to be awesome. And then we're going to flip and watch Manny and Tim go at it. Go ahead, Rob.
All right. So this is one of the most talked about rematches of this year because Manny Pacquiao lost that controversial decision. Last year? Or year before?
It was about 2 years ago now.
About 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Where everyone thought that Pacquiao won. Even we thought that Pacquiao won. Maybe not as convincingly or as wide as everyone else thought. We thought it was fairly close. Maybe, 8?
I scored it 8-4.
8-4, maybe 7-5. I just don't think it was as wide or as convincing as people felt it was.
Well, if you got Jim Lampley yelling in your ear every time Pacquiao blinked or stepped forward, it was like, oh my God, Pacquiao! Oh my God, Pacquiao! Like, dude, calm down. Oh, that's neither here nor there.
No, screw it. We're going to go back to our thoughts on that fight. One, Pacquiao did fight very well in the first half of the fight.
For the last 30 seconds of each round.
Now, if you look, and Bradley was hurt. He hurt, was it both ankles?
Yeah.
Now, if I know a guy's hurt and can't move, you got to go in there and take him out.
Yep.
I know Tim Bradley is not, he's not the most vicious puncher. He's not the fastest fighter. But he has very strong will. And he is more skillful than people thought. But Pacquiao should have put his foot on the gas pedal and went right at Bradley. Not 2 minutes and 40 seconds of posturing and taking a rest and possibly not being in shape and then try to explode in the last 20 seconds. I mean, from around 5 or 6 on to about around 11 or so, maybe 10 or 11, that's what happened. And also, if you ignore Jim Lampley, there was actually a lot of punches that Bradley did not get credit for.
Oh, yeah.
Now, that's not to say that Bradley wasn't in the fight, because, again, Bradley for that first half of the fight was, he looked great.
I would say he looked pretty good in the last part of the fight. I think that, I gave him the first round and the last 3 rounds. And then round 7 is kind of a swing round. There was a 1 minute and 30-second gap where the commentator said nothing, and Bradley probably threw about 50 punches, and he landed quite a bit of them at that.
That's right.
And then Pacquiao threw a jab, and all of a sudden they just woke up and started talking again. But
very unfair to Tim Bradley.
Yeah, and when I watched it, I did think that Pacquiao had edged that round. And then a week later, they went back and showed it on the fight game, and they played it without the commentary. It's you know what? That round's pretty close. I thought it was pretty close then. I still gave it to Pacquiao. But still, with that one round, I think it went to 7-5 for Pacquiao for me. Mm-hmm. But, I didn't go back and do that because when I watched the fight live, I scored it 8-4.
Yeah, and to be honest, we're going to be perfectly honest here. After round 12, we thought Pac won.
Yep.
This is us being very objective. This is not us saying, or just because Tim Bradley is black and we hate Pacquiao. Because let's face it, Pacquiao went on a run where he was dominating cats.
He is still one of the best fighters of this generation.
Of course. We thought that he edged out. We were as surprised and shocked as anyone that Tim Bradley won.
I got a good laugh out of it, though. I'm not going to lie.
Lampley's tone and face were probably priceless.
Yeah.
Well, his tone was priceless. His face was even probably more priceless.
Yeah.
I would just wish I could just run up on him and take a picture click, sorry, and run off. But it's neither here nor there. That is in the past. You cannot go back and change those cards.
Right.
But CJ Ross?
Yeah. Let's talk about this Saturday. Now, since that fight, fight. We'll call it the fight. The fighters went in two separate directions. We all know what happened in Manny's next fight. We all know what happened in Tim's next fight. Well, actually, their next two fights. Tim went on to beat Rustam Provodnikov by the skin of his teeth, and then he outboxed Juan Manuel Marquez, which is a fantastic feat.
That's right.
Manny Pacquiao stayed away for about a year and then did some heavy bag work. He fought Brandon Rios. I'm sorry. Looked like he should have looked. When we did our breakdown, I thought he was going to stop him.
He should have stopped him.
Yeah. But, that's neither here nor there, like Rob said earlier. I'm going to be real honest with you guys. I have no clue who I think is going to win this fight. I still think Pacquiao is the better fighter. I think he's faster. I think he hits harder. I think he has more tools in his toolbox. But Tim Bradley has some intangibles that just really pull him through fights that he shouldn't win. And it could very well happen again. And that's why, I can't really say definitively that one or the other is going to win. Bradley can easily outwill Pacquiao, but Pacquiao can be Pacquiao and put it on Tim Bradley. I'm really thinking it's going to be a good fight. It's going to be a really good fight, and it's going to wake you up because the undercard is probably going to put you to sleep if you didn't watch Glory. Because if you watch Glory, you're going to be hyped for the main event.
That's right.
So, I'm thinking it's going to be another close one. They're going to be throwing punches in bunches. There's going to be a lot of very close missed punches from both guys. A lot of good defense. Like, this is going to be the sweet science at its highest form when you see this fight.
Now, for me, I want to go on two things. I want to go on the physical skills and the mental. I want to start with mental. Pacquiao, through his run, has fought a who's who of guys that are bigger than him.
Yeah.
One, this is what I think. That fight with Margarito took a lot out of Pac.
Yeah.
He may have beat the out of Margarito, but it took a lot out of him. Rumor is he was in bed for days in pain.
It was not a rumor. It actually happened.
Now, that didn't take away his desire to go after his opponent, but the Marquez fight might have. To know that you can get caught and to get so viciously knocked out after you were dominating that fight, because let's be honest, even though he was getting hit with that counter right, he probably could have knocked Marquez out, and I think he was attempting to.
Oh, yeah.
Now, if you watch the Rios fight, he had more of a plan to get rounds in, hit and not be hit. But let's face it, Rios wasn't going to hit him to begin with. There was no way Rios was going to be able to catch him. But he needed to get that confidence back to know he could deliver punishment and not take punishment. But Rios ain't Margarito, he ain't Marquez, and he ain't Bradley. Now with Bradley, he has the, if you ask me, mental edge, because he actually went through a power puncher in Provodnikov, who is now a 140-pound champ, who is probably one of the harder hitters in boxing right now. And then he outboxed Pacquiao's nemesis in Marquez. So to be honest, he might have the mental edge in this fight. So we'll see if his intangibles and his confidence going into this fight will outweigh Pacquiao's, let's say his mental caution to not get hit, which it shouldn't, because Bradley is not a power puncher, but there are kind of a few things that I expect. I expect him to do the same thing that he did in the first Pacquiao fight, was to roll with the punches instead of just outright avoiding them, which is a hard thing to do, but he seems to have it. And as well, take advantage of Pacquiao's aggressiveness, especially if he's over-aggressive, which Tim Bradley has said he would make him pay for it. Now, physically, if you watch 24/7, Bradley's trainer Joe Diaz says that he's trying to, as best he can, emulate what Pacquiao does in the ring. And let's face it, ain't too many people, if anyone, that's gonna do that.
Yeah, especially not a 50-year-old man. That yeah, it's not gonna happen.
But I think they're trying to simulate bringing Pacquiao in to get hit with the same punch that Pacquiao got hit with from Marquez.
For 4 fights.
For 4 fights. And as you see, Pacquiao has that feint, feint, and trying to, I'm sorry, got to turn. He's a southpaw. Feint, and try to hit him either
With the left.
the straight left.
Yeah.
Now, as we all know, that's what led into the destruction, which was Marquez counter right, which he sat down on and threw it with all vicious intent, and everything in his soul went into that punch.
That was probably all he had left. That was one of those anime type of like a spirit bomb, or just like he just put everything he had left into that punch, and it paid off.
Yeah, that was a fight-ending punch. So,
Had he missed, he would probably been done in the next 2 rounds.
That's right, because he was hurt.
Yeah.
Now, will Bradley bring that kind of gusto with a right hand? No.
Nah.
Will he hit Pacquiao with it? Possibly.
Yes.
And he will, and I think getting hit with that punch might make Pacquiao reset. And if he has to constantly reset against a puncher like Tim Bradley, then he might be picked apart.
Yeah.
And another thing, Bradley is an underrated body puncher. I'm not saying he's going to knock you out, but I think he hits harder to the body than what people give him credit for.
Yeah, that's the point I was going to make. The body punching of Bradley might be what carries him through this fight. A lot of people don't really talk about this, but Pacquiao's been a pro for a long time. Mm-hmm. I think he turned pro at like 15, 16 years old. He's had, I think he's closing in on 60 fights. And for the last 5 to 7 years, he's been fighting people bigger than him.
Yes.
That'll take a lot out on you. For him to have to keep on moving like he has to move. You saw it in his later fights recently where he started getting leg cramps. Will those pop back up? Because, he got bigger and more muscular, and his body wasn't used to carrying all that muscle, the blood, all that science, that's all I'm saying. Will that come into play in this fight? I think if Bradley can really work that body, like he did work the body a lot in the first fight. Mm-hmm. And then we have to remember that Bradley was hurt from like the first or second round in that fight. And not just a little hurt, he was hurt badly. He tore a ligament in one foot, sprained an ankle on the other foot. Those are some bad injuries. He was out for like, I think almost, 9 months after that. He had to heal for 2 months, then he had to find a fight. And so if he can stay healthy, maybe this is a totally different fight. But really, that's it. Like I said, I can't pick a winner. I'm just going to enjoy the fight. We're twisting Rob's arm here. I think he's about to make a decision.
There's an X factor I want to bring, and his name is Alex Ariza. Let's face it, the best that Pac-Man has looked has been when he's had his strength and conditioning coach, Alex Ariza, there. Now, I'm not saying that's the end-all be-all, because Alex Ariza does not work on strategy. He does not work on skills, just the overall preparedness physically for fights. We're going to see how he looks when it comes fight time. Is he going to be in elite shape? Because to be honest, he's going to need to be in elite shape to fight Bradley, because Bradley comes in elite shape. Yeah. I'm twisting my arm. I'm going for another controversial decision. I think Pat did not learn as much in that fight as Bradley did. Hopefully he does not get overly aggressive. I don't see a knockout, but I see him possibly being frustrated. The body punching to Bradley can make him reset, and he has been hurt by body punches before. That's one of those things I don't think he really anyone likes, but I know he doesn't like it. The only thing is, Bradley, when he gets hit, he actually shows he gets hit. Like, I got hurt. Oh shit, I'm hurt. Wait a minute, time out. All right, now I'm ready. I'm going to go Bradley, another controversial split decision. I think it's going to be controversial if there's no knockout. It's extremely hard, if almost impossible, to knock Bradley out. The dude's will is just indomitable. And to me, Pacquiao is going to have to be at his best to knock him out. I think it's going to be close. It's going to be a split decision unless something like Pacquiao just goes 2007, 2008 on us. I think it's going to be a controversial split decision. I think Bradley will fight smarter in this fight because he's learned a lot from the Pacquiao fight as well as the Provodnikov fight. And because when he actually boxed and not traded with Provodnikov, he was winning. Same thing with Marquez. I think he can adjust. The thing is, can Pacquiao impose his will and his skill on Bradley? Possibly. It's going to be a split decision. I'm saying Bradley. I could be very wrong because Pacquiao could go back to what Pacquiao is, especially when he came in at that fourth Marquez fight.
Yeah. Going back to the first one, I thought that Pac would run Bradley into a left hand that he never saw and stop him. I still think that's his best chance to win. Bradley does get a little reckless. He's been getting a lot better at that lately.
Yeah.
He is kind of stopped going in head first and just winging punches. He's been setting it up a lot better now. But if they can get those nerves going and Pacquiao can make him do it maybe 2 times, that third time, he's going to get lit up.
Right.
But I don't know if Pacquiao has that in him. I really think that's the only knockout shot that we have for this fight. But if Bradley knocks him out, we have to give him his props.
We got to.
Yeah, just let that sink in. That's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure you share this video with your friends. Make sure you like this video on Facebook, YouTube, wherever you're watching it, Google+. Plus one it on there. It's a little bit different.
Yeah.
If you guys got anything to say, comment below, whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, wherever. I already said share it with your friends. I can't stress that enough. Share it with your friends. Let's all join in on the debate. We want to hear what you think. Hit us up on Facebook, Capital Combat. YouTube, Capital Combat. Google+, Capital Combat. Gets no easier. Email, capitalcombat@gmail.com. Just remember Capital Combat and hit us up.
Please, this is one of those things that we would love to debate over because it's such a toss-up. We know some are going to be extreme Pac fans. We want to hear from y'all too. Just be respectful.
That's right. So we'll see y'all over the course of the next week. Maybe during the fight time itself, hit us up on the Facebook page. We can talk about it while it's going on. And Glory too. Because that, like I said, I don't know how many times I can stress this, but Glory is going to be awesome. So we'll talk about that and the Pac fight on the Facebook page. And we'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.
This is round 1 and you've already lost. They don't seem to see that everything we've done is coming and cost. My fists are on fire. I perform till I perspire. My demons are in a rage. Keep thinking that it's a game. I kick rhyme, hurricane. I told them I don't play. I'm liquid.
Black Street Fighter.